It's over faster than Zola imagined it would be. Afterward, Morgan lights a joint, its skunky haze filling the car. He offers her a toke, and she shakes her head, knowing she'll have a coughing fit if she inhales. He looks at her warily. You're okay, right? Yeah, fine. Good. She sits there, her hands in her lap, waiting for him to speak again, but all he does is pull out his phone and start texting someone. When the joint is down to a final glowing stub, Morgan flicks it out of the window. Without turning, he says, You were great. I have to split soon, though. Practice. Sorry. He frowns, seems to chew something over in his head. Where do you live? I can drive you home, if it's close. She recites her address, wondering how long it's been since they left, if anyone has noticed her absence yet. The lights outside slip and blur as the car starts to move. Zola watches the parking lot shrink to a gray square the size of a floor tile. It seems to her that some sort of bad thing has happened, and she was just lucky enough not to feel it. Like someone who is sleeping when an earthquake hits, and afterward wakes up to find everything in their house turned upside down. Morgan is watching her in the rearview mirror, angling it to get a better look at her face. She might have thought this charming at another time, but now she just turns her head away, not wanting to be seen. This is it, she says. Morgan unlocks the doors. Zola stares out at the sidewalk, grimy and dotted with chewed gum. Wait, she says, overwhelmed by a sudden need to stay in the car. What about prom? Are we still on? Huh? Oh, yeah, I'll text you. She's already pulling the door closed. She waits until the sound of the engine fades into the distance. Then she begins to walk, ignoring the pain radiating from her abdomen, the dawning realization that they have not been safe, as her mother says. The neighborhood must be familiar. She must have walked through it hundreds of times, but suddenly she can't think of where to turn. The street signs are still there, but all meaning has been leached out of them. They don't even sound like real places. Beechwood, Blue Oak Drive, like streets in some fantasy version of the suburbs that Zola would have concocted for herself back in Maine. She stops at an intersection and stands with her toes at the curb. Cars rush by, some of them honking at her, so close that she can feel the currents of air they slough off. At the very end of the next block, lights are burning in her house. She goes toward it slowly, letting the toes of her dress shoes scuff on the pavement. Her phone buzzes against her hip. It's from Morgan, a single line of text perched on top of dozens of calls from Mom and Dad. She drags every notification to the side, wondering dimly how she didn't notice them earlier, until only Morgan's message remains. Sure you're fine? Zola's hands shake as she types. A-okay. She opens the emoji keyboard and stares for a while at the long row of faces. Finally, she selects one that's laughing so hard that 2 fat tears are pooling at the corners of its eyes. She hits send and watches the message hover in the stratosphere for a moment before being delivered. The house is right in front of her now, but Zola keeps walking. She'll go around the block one more time. She knows it's stupid, but she can't shake the hope that, just maybe, when she comes around again, everything will be different.